Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith has officially apologized for the comments he made about Jasmine Crockett, giving her unsolicited advice, asking what she's done, saying that all she's doing, and I'm paraphrasing here, is attacking the president of the United States. That's quite rich that you have somebody critiquing somebody for quote unquote attacking the president of the United States, where he has made an entire career, Donald Trump, from attacking everybody to Jeb Bush to Nikki Haley to Ted Cruz to countless others.
To
That's
Barack
quite rich,
Obama
right?
and Barack Obama's
Obama,
birth certificate. Yeah.
to Colin Kaepernick, just the racial attacks alone.
Mm-hmm.
But Stephen A. Smith got some heat, and is this an apology? It's something. The clip is a little bit long, and I watched the entire clip, y'all, but we can't play an entire clip. We can't play an entire 9-minute rant on these airwaves. So here's an edited version of what Stephen A. Smith said, quote unquote, apologizing to the wonderful Jasmine Crockett, friend of the show. Listen to this.
I personally have had an issue with how things have been misconstrued and misinterpreted. But at the end of the day, I have to own it. And that's what I'm going to do today. And so when somebody says to me, Stephen, rather than point to her and her verbiage and her language and how she talked about the president, what about how he talks? I have no problem with that. I can understand that. And if that is the reason that everybody is in an uproar, that is fine. And I have no problem apologizing to my sister, because damn it, I want her to know I don't feel that way about her. Just like I didn't feel that way about Kamala Harris. Just like I don't feel that way about the marvelous, the wonderful, the incomparable, the greatest first lady ever, and Michelle Obama, in my estimation, or anybody else. But what we're going to do on this show is understand who the hell I am and how it's going to be as long as I'm doing this show. I have no problem apologizing if I'm wrong. I have no problem apologizing if I've made somebody feel a certain kind of way. But I'm going to challenge the legitimacy of what people come at me with when I think that challenge is warranted and deserved. If you came to me and you said to me that it came across as a bit dismissive, Stephen, you should have been more protective of her than that, because look at how he speaks. Look at how they act on Capitol Hill towards her. I understand that. But when somebody tries to take that to accuse me of being disrespectful or in any way misogynistic, I'm going to push back on that, because that's emphatically false. There's no truth to that whatsoever, and I'm not accepting that, and I'm not owning that. I can sit up there and I can look at Representative Jasmine Crockett. Do you know what I think she should be doing? I think she should be competing for the Senate seat in Texas or for the Attorney General spot, because she's qualified. I personally think Kamala Harris should have ran for governor of California. I've said it for the record that if Michelle Obama was running for president, she would have beat Trump, in my opinion. I think she'd have done it. That's how I feel. But somehow, some way, it's never enough for some people out there. I understand. I would advise you to get over it or buckle up, because I'm not going away. I was simply asking a question. That's all. What's working for you? Because I don't want her to lose the prowess that she has. I want it to continue to gain and elevate. We need resistance to what we see going on in the streets of America. I asked a question. I get it now with Trump feeding into that nonsense, giving him fodder or ammunition to continue to go out there and talk about our black women that way. I got it. I don't like that at all. I don't want to be associated with nothing like that. And I apologize.
So let me say this. Jasmine Crockett, Vice President Kamala Harris, and Michelle Obama, they don't need political advice from Stephen A. Smith. Just like LeBron James doesn't need basketball advice from Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
Angel Reese does not need basketball advice from Stephen A. Smith. They're good. In case
Mhm.
he doesn't know, Jasmine Crockett has raised more money than any other rep from Texas in the House. She's raised
Mhm.
more money. She's
Mhm.
good. And he talks about, I was asking a question. Maybe at some point you were, but you literally said that she's engaging in verbiage and rhetoric for the streets.
Mhm. Mhm.
For the streets. And the thing is, you're not going anywhere. You have a right to run your mouth, and other folks will have a reaction. You aren't
Yeah.
above critique.
Right.
You make a
Right.
lot of money. You're very privileged. You do really well for yourself. People on the right love you. You think that Wes Moore could be your running mate. You think a lot of yourself. You really have a huge ego, and that's great. But nobody's asking for or needs political advice from you. Now, you may think you're the grand whisperer because you'll be able to chit chat with Sean Hannity and they'll put you on Fox News and someone's stroking your ego. Because the thing is, Stephen A. Smith, they like someone like you. You're nothing new. I broke it down on my New York Times bestseller, The Grift.
Period.
You can get a good check.
Mm.
You can get a good check when you talk about the ills of black people and you're
Mm.
black.
Mm.
It's profitable to do that. You'll get some good views doing that. You'll get a lot of attention doing that. Many folks have tried. Some folks hit the Grifton lottery, like Clarence Thomas,
Yeah.
when he would insult Thurgood Marshall, when he paraphrased
Mm.
his own sister as a welfare queen.
Mm.
And you can
Mm.
really get far when you insult black women. Oh
Oh
yes,
yeah. Oh yeah.
you
Oh
can
yeah.
really
Oh
go
yeah.
far with that. I can recall when he was criticizing Joyanne Reed, saying her ratings were terrible. They actually weren't
Mm.
terrible. Her ratings were better than other shows on the network, and she still got let go. So the thing is, they don't need the advice from you, but if you're going to offer up unsolicited advice, then folks are going to give you unsolicited clapbacks. But he
Period.
apologized.
Did he? Barely.
Rhetoric for the streets. What exact? I mean, that right there, rhetoric for the streets. So what kind of rhetoric is Trump?
Right.
That rhetoric from Trump, that's trash to me. That's street. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what the streets, I don't know what exactly. That's some gutter sidewalk shit on the sidewalk rhetoric. And
Yeah.
for you to be more critical of a rep from Texas who has done incredible work, I just thought it was kind of funny that, I think she should. Nobody's asking you. You're not in her district. Where does he
Yeah.
live? Is he a New Yorker?
I don't know.
Whatever district you're in, why don't you? Maybe that's when you want to give them advice. But
Mm.
you are not. We've been down this road many, many a times. The person who sees beyond their lens and sees things differently and will give these grand critiques of black people, and you're somehow not woke and you're somehow aware. No, the thing is, you got all that heat, all that clapback, and you could. I might have had more if you would have just stood in it and just said, "Up, I'm not even going to apologize." Then you give a weak, half-ass apology. Maybe you could learn from Jasmine Crockett. Maybe you can learn from her. Maybe
Yeah.
you can learn from some folks who understand what it means to really stand in it.
Right.
But he apologized, quote unquote. Reese
Barely.
Covert.
Here's my problem. And he has a pattern of doing this. Stephen A. Smith says some shit. He doubles, triples, quadruples down on it because he said the shit on his show. People dragged his ass. He came back, said, I said what I said, and he was on other people's podcasts. He quadrupled down on his criticism of Jasmine Crockett. But he got dragged to hell and back. And instead of saying, damn, y'all turned me every which way but loose. And so now I need to back the fuck up. Because apparently she got more support than I thought she did. And so I stepped in some shit and maybe I ain't about that life like I thought I was. I can respect that. But what he does instead is he tries to act like everybody is fucking stupid. Nothing was misconstrued. Nothing was misinterpreted. We got the exact message that you sent out multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
So not only are you half-ass apologizing, but you're being patronizing and you're gaslighting. So there's no accountability and sincerity in a gaslighting ass, fake ass apology. And then you're being patronized. Oh, well, I thought Kamala should have run for governor. You're the same motherfucker that sat up there and said that you were tricked into voting for Kamala.
Oh.
Mr.
Basically that.
Political Maverick, Mr. I know all the shit. I'm a political strategist. You said you were tricked and you was going all on the Trump train about how you got pressured into this and pressured into that. I don't think a motherfucker who can get pressured into voting for a particular candidate should be talking about anything, because you can't pressure me to do shit. My values, my priorities are what the fuck my priorities are. I don't give a damn what's trending on Twitter. I'm gonna vote how the fuck I'm gonna vote, period. And it's gonna be based on facts, and it's gonna be based on my moral conviction. So now you're trying to demote her ass. She already said she didn't want to be motherfucking governor. She was vice president. She might run for president again. She already said she don't want to be governor. So how the hell is you saying I thought she should have run for governor? A message of support. Michelle Obama already said she don't want to be president. So how is saying she should run for president or she could have won? That's not support. And it's, misogyny works very similar to how racism works. We broke this down about Joe Scarborough a couple of days ago.
Yep.
People think that, if in this situation I show support for a woman, then that means that I can't be misogynistic. That's not true.
Right.
It's not situational. It is the lens through which you view things. The lens that empowered you to repeatedly denigrate Jasmine Crockett and act like she has a place that you have the authority to put her in. That's what misogyny is. Okay? Just to be very clear about that. That's why you are getting criticized. Because who the fuck are you to tell her how she should conduct herself when she is the one who's getting called ghetto black bitch by Jigsaw Lori Loomer, who has been called low IQ by Donald Trump, who's constantly being attacked, who was attacked by what's her name? Nobody even talk about her no more. The one, not Marjorie, the one who got in the fight with Marjorie. You know what I'm talking about? What's the girl name?
Oh, Lauren Boebert.
Boebert, yeah, Lauren Boebert. Yeah. All these people have come for Jasmine, and all she's done is represent her district. So, but you thought you could tell
trying to redraw to take away her power, which should be a bigger story.
There's also
talk about as a political expert.
No,
but they've already reached. What I'm talking, not trying. They did it. It's gonna go into effect next year. Yeah.
Right. So he thought he had authority over this black woman to tell her how she should conduct herself and how she should speak. So that authority that you have vested in yourself delusionally is what misogyny is. Just to be very, very clear about that. Because you don't have authority over her. So that's what he does not understand. That's what's not clicking to him. What he's misconstruing is the root behind the criticism for him. That's what he's misunderstanding. Okay. So yeah, I'm not buying it. Don't act like everybody's fucking stupid. A lot of very intelligent people have broke down why you're wrong. So if you don't understand,
also add Reese.
Yeah,
he really insulted Bakari Sellers.
Oh yeah, he did.
Friend of the show who's been on saying nobody cares what you think. I mean, he went off on Bakari.
I got a bigger
Sellers.
audience than you.
Right.
What's all that
should
about?
Apologize to Bakari Sellers as well, but you won't. But here's the thing: he talked about Jasmine Crockett rhetoric for the streets, but what it really is that you're mad the streets clap back at you. That's what it is.
Well, he thought that he thought that because he's a 100 millionaire, however many millionaires he is, and because he's a top sportscaster in the realm of sports, which people tend to be much more engaged on. It's much more profitable. It has much more eyes. It is a bigger platform. Platform does not equal impact. He thought that street cred or that credibility or that whatever, even though a lot of people don't like him even in that realm, but it's working for him. He's getting paid, so who cares, right? He thought that carries over to anything else that he does. But you have to understand, politics is a different ball game, literally a different ball game than balls and strikes. Okay? You got different people who have different values, different level of engagement, different information, and you have not established yourself as a credible voice in that realm. Yes, the Sean Hannity's, thank you. You could be their pet on TV because you're attacking Black people. They love that shit. That doesn't give you credibility. That gives you a usefulness to them. And so he overestimated his street credibility over here in this ball game. And that's why he thought that he could come after Jasmine Crockett. But people who actually care about the civics and the politics of our country and our community, they rock with Jasmine. So you done fucked around and found out that over here, you ain't got the juice. So that's what you really need to understand. Maybe approach it with a little bit more humility. And don't nobody have a problem with the street this, the street. It's different strokes for different folks. Some people don't like somebody cussing. Some people don't like the eyelashes. That's fine. That's for them to figure out, not for her to worry about. But just like you a loudmouth, a motherfucker, and that's okay that you a loudmouth, but just be loud and correct. Don't be loud and wrong. That's where you fucked up.
And let's also be clear here on a really serious and important note. Jasmine Crockett is fighting back against right-wing extremism.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she's doing right now. So it wasn't growth. It was damage control.
That's what it was.
And maybe do a little bit more listening instead of your quote unquote lecturing.
But here's the thing too, Clay, to your point about kind of perpetuating narratives about her intelligence. Donald Trump calls her low IQ. When you characterize what Jasmine Crockett does as street talk, which it's not, she keeps it real. What you're trying to say is that, the way that Black people, the way that we know how to break shit down, the way that we communicate makes us less intelligent, makes our points invalid. And there are a lot of people that share that view that are Black too, because I get it all the time myself. I'm not, she ain't nearly as bad as I am when it comes to cursing and stuff like that. But my whole point is that they want to push the image on her that she's uneducated, that she doesn't have any validity to what she's saying. And you're perpetuating that by calling what she's saying street talk. She's not doing street talk. If she was, that would be okay. But that's not what she's doing. And if you want to talk about decorum, start with the motherfucking Oval Office. You can't talk about the West Wing because that's just demolished now. But talk about the press secretary
East Wing.
of the United States, who, when was asked a serious question about foreign policy, who determined Budapest as a site for a meeting with Trump and Russia, this bitch said, "Your mom." That was her response. Your mom. Talk about the person who was a Trump nominee for the office of special counsel, who in text messages said he had a Nazi streak. What kind of motherfucking decorum is that? Talk about the vice president of the United States, who called a former peer of his that he served with in the Senate Jose, when he know his motherfucking name was Alex, just being racist. And I can keep going on and on and on with all of the fucked up things that have come out of JD Vance's mouth, out of Trump every day. He was literally dumping shit on a crowd in an AI video.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to talk about decorum, talk about Mike Johnson not swearing in a duly elected official in Arizona. Talk about that. If you want to talk about decorum, then talk about following the motherfucking court rulings that say that the ICE agents in Chicago have to wear body cameras. If you want to talk about decorum, let's talk about not firing prosecutors because they don't want to maliciously prosecute Tish James or Jim Comey. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how LaMonica McIver, a Black woman, a congresswoman, is facing 15 years in jail because of trumped up charges from this administration doing her oversight congressional constitutionally protected duties. That's the decorum conversation we need to be having. Motherfuckers is about to miss their SNAP benefits. The government is shut down. That's the decorum. He's illegally striking boats, claiming they're drug traffickers, killing people.
Chad Joseph, Reese, we covered it yesterday. 26 years old. He was a fisherman working in Venezuela, Trinidadian. Went there to take care of his family. His family says that he was killed. They said he was not a drug dealer.
Yeah.
They covered it in Reuters. That's decorum. But you know what, Reese? What you just said is so important. But you know what? That's all policy.
That's policy.
That won't get you a bunch of clicks. That won't get you 1 million views. All you said right there was policy or the result of bad policy. You literally have a 26-year-old dead named Chad Joseph I want to see a whole 40-minute rant on that, Mr. Smith. You have the platform. You have it. Talk about that. Bring on his family. They might be down to talk to you. They talk to Reuters. They're in tears. He was a father. That's no decorum. He's dead, 26-year-old fisherman living in Trinidad doing work in Venezuela. When fentanyl doesn't even come from Venezuela. But that won't get Megyn Kelly to give you a round of applause. That won't get you on Fox News.
Get your little head pat.
That won't get you the pat on the head like Byron Donalds got.
That's what you're looking for.
Y'all, and we know how, but decorum, everything you just said, that's policy. That's policy. And all those things, Jasmine Crockett, everything you just said, she has spoken out about.
That's right. That's fucking right. That's why I don't take people seriously. Don't talk about language. Don't talk about this until you are exponentially, not even equally is not enough to me, exponentially more concerned about the breach in decorum, okay, the disruption in people's lives, the complete erosion of what semblance of a democracy that we had. Until that is something that you can show me your righteous anger at, then shut the fuck up about how a person talks, about how long they fucking eyelashes are, how they baby hair is swooped on their goddamn lace front. I don't want to hear shit about that. I don't give a damn. Talk about the real shit, but you can't. And that's not what you're there for. And you also ain't gonna say shit about these goddamn Republicans. You say, I don't have a problem talking about it. Well, let's get to that part. That's the part we want to hear from your motherfucking ass. But that ain't what you're there for.
Consistently, repeatedly, daily.
Yes. Well, his show was once a week, so.
Well, on social media, on whatever, like on First Take, whatever he does a rant, and he gets a feeling, he just does a rant.
That's true. He sure does.
Breaking news to him.
Yep. He'll hop on some shit.
There's some real shit going on right now. Real shit going on. And Jasmine Crockett is on the right side of history.
She sure is. She sure is.
On the right side of history. She's not the problem.